Hi guys, so welcome back to my channel. Thank you for following my lesson all this while. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Do support. Yeah. Okay. All right. Done with that. Yeah. Today we are going to learn on subtopic 2.3, which is living processes in multicellular organism, chapter 2, form 4, Kssm. I hope you're ready with your pen and paper and take notes. And let's do this. Okay, as usual, we have to look at the learning standards. So the first one is to correlate the uniqueness of specialized cell structures with their function in multicellular organism. Okay, and then identify the special cells in multicellular organism. Analyze the density of certain organelles with the function of specialized cells in multicellular organism and describe the effect of deficiency or absence or failure in the function of organelle for certain cells in multicellular organism. So all this we are going to look into this chapter. Okay, now cell differentiation. Okay, a multicellular organism is an organism with more than one cell. You know that, of course. Now, a multicellular organism begins with a single cell, okay, zygote, which continues to grow and develop into multicellular adult through mitotic division cell division. Okay, now cell growth and also cell differentiation. So all that, changes and develops one adult or an organism. Now, these cells performing a particular type of work, okay, that similar in many aspects. So now different cells carry out different types of work and they are modified accordingly. The human body is actually made up of various cells that carry out specific function in the body. So cell differentiation is actually a process of a cell becoming specialized in structure and also function. Yeah, so from the zygote, okay, we have the nerve cells, red blood cells, muscle cells, sperm cells, and also bone cells. So all these are differentiated to be specialized cells. Okay, specialization in humans. Let's look at the muscle cell first. Now, muscle cells consist of a compact bundle of protein fibers. Okay, there are three types of muscle cells. We have cardiac muscle cells in the heart, skeletal muscle cells, which is attached to the bones, and also smooth muscle cells. Okay, this is usually in the wall of the internal organs. Now, the function of this muscle cell is to contract and relax for movement. Flex your biceps. Okay, next, nerve cells consist of a cell body, okay, which contains nucleus and a long nerve fiber. So that's how a nerve cells look like. Okay, function is actually to transmit nerve impulse along the fiber to the brain, to the brain, from the brain, and also to and from the spinal cord. All right, next, epithelial cell. They are usually flat, thin. Okay, the lines, the surface of organs, okay, such as ciliated cells and also goblet cells in the respiratory tract, in the trachea. Okay, example. Function is that the goblet cells, okay, they secrete mucus, okay, to trap dust and also microorganism. The cilia, on the ciliated cells, they will actually sweep the mucus with trapped substances away from the lungs. Okay, and then we have white blood cells, which is a little bit different from red blood cells, obviously. Okay, now they do not have a fixed shape. They have nucleus. Red blood cells, no nucleus. Hello. Okay, and they can destroy pathogens and also foreign substances in the body. Now, the function of white blood cell is actually to protect the body against infection. Then we have the red blood cells, okay, which does not have nucleus. It contains hemoglobin, however, okay, hemoglobin, the red pigment, okay, which actually combines with oxygen. So function of this red blood cell is actually to transport oxygen and also carbon dioxide. All right, throughout the body, sorry. Now, next we have sperm cells, okay, which is a tadpole shape. All right, the head contains a nucleus, okay, with one set of paternal chromosome from the father, of course, It has a long tail. Okay, the middle piece have many spiral shaped mitochondria. If you look at the middle piece here, okay, and also it actually provides energy. The middle piece actually provides energy for movement. So the function of this sperm cell is actually to swim to the egg cell or the ovum for fertilization. So every cells from the zygote differentiated to perform specific function. Okay, in plants, same thing. Okay, in plants we have a few cells as well that we're going to see here. We have mesophyll cells. Okay, the leaf have two types of mesophyll cell, which is the palisade and also the spongy here. Okay, so the palisade mesophyll, they are rectangular in shape. Okay, they are arranged closely together. They have no air spaces. They have many chloroplasts. Okay, all this is to allow maximum absorption of energy from the sunlight for photosynthesis. Okay, spongy mesophyll cell, they are irregular in shape or oval in shape, we say. Okay, they are loosely arranged with many air spaces, and they also have chloroplasts, lesser than the palisade mesophyll. Okay, function is to facilitate diffusion of gases to the mesophyll cell and also to carry out photosynthesis. Then we have the xylem and the phloem. Okay, xylem vessel. Okay, it is a very long, continuous, hollow, fine tube from the root to all other parts of the plant. Okay, and then the cell wall is actually thickened with lignin so that it becomes strong in various patterns. Okay, they have various patterns. They are formed from dead cells. They are joined end to end. So function of xylem is to transport water and mineral ions from the roots to the leaves. And we also have sieve tube elements, okay, part of phloem. Okay, they are actually long, cylindrical tube arranged from end to end, okay, separated by an end wall. Okay, it forms a long continuous tube from the roots to other, parts of the plant. And the function is actually to transport dissolved organic substances or the photosynthesis product from the leaves to all parts of the plant. Okay, and then we also have the root hair. Okay, it is a long fine projection, okay, from the epidermis of the root, okay, to increase the surface area. Now one root hair is formed from the differentiation of one epidermal cell of the root. Okay, so function of this root hair cell is to absorb water and mineral ions from the soil. Okay, gut cells. Next is gut cells. So this we have here gut cells. They are formed from differentiation of epidermal cells on the leaf. It has thicker inner cell wall and thick outer cell wall. Okay, thin inner and thick outer. Alright, it is located on the upper and lower epidermis of the leaf, and the function is to control the opening and closing of stoma. Okay, it is also to control the size of stoma for gases exchange. Now, through the stoma, exchange of gases occur and water can be lost, okay, from the leaves by transpiration. So, stomata and gut cells helps in transpiration processes. Okay, now you have learned that multicellular organisms such as humans consist of different types of cells with specific functions. Now, how are these cells arranged to form a complex organism? So now, tissues are a group of cells that have the same structure and function and are arranged together to carry out specific function. Okay, so in organism, tissues can be classified into 4 different types, okay, which are epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, nerve tissue, and also connective tissues, which we are going to see in a while. Okay, epithelial tissue consists of epithelial cells arranged in a continuous layer which is 1 cell thick. Okay, epithelial tissue covers the outer surface of, like for example, skin. Okay, and the hollow surfaces are in the body. For example, we have the digestive tract, respiratory tract. Okay, so that covers that. Now, the epithelial tissue structure is adapted based on its function. For example, the epithelial tissue on the skin protects against infection, protects against injuries, chemicals, and also dehydration. Now, epithelial tissues that coats the trachea, they have projection, Okay, they have the projection. If you look at D here, okay, projection, like hair, okay, which is known as cilia, okay, or we say cilia singular. Function is actually to protect the underlying cells from mechanical injury, and they also act to absorb water and food by diffusion. Okay, they form secretory glands which produce secretion. All right, so different types of epithelial tissues here. So if you can look at your textbook, you can see there are many types of epithelial tissue, okay, which covers the surface of the mouth, the esophagus. Okay, we have the one that covers the surface of lungs, body cavities, blood vessels. Okay, in trachea, in bronchus, then in kidney, all right, in tubules, and also the small intestines. Okay, muscle tissue consists of muscle cells, okay, which can contract, relax to produce movement. Now, there are three types of muscle tissues. We have here skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and also smooth muscle. So now you look at the picture of the three, you must know how to differentiate the three. Okay, if you look at the cardiac muscle, they usually have interconnected disc. Okay, whereas skeletal muscle, they do not have there, but they have myofibrils, and also they have the nucleus here. All right, and this one also have nucleus and microfiber, but we have the interconnected disc here. You see the darker version of it. All right, so you must be able to differentiate, and there's usually gaps, okay, for cardiac muscles, but it's more compact for skeletal muscles. Okay, now let's look at each one of them. Now, smooth muscle tissue. So let me erase this first. Okay, now smooth muscle tissues, they consist of what? Of course, smooth muscle cells, okay, which are found on the wall of the internal organs. These smooth muscle tissues, they will contract and relax. Remember, function of muscles is to contract and relax. So everything is contract and relax, but depending on where the muscle tissues are found. So now, smooth muscle contract, relax to enable peristaltic movement in the alimentary canal, digestive tract. Okay. Then we have the skeletal muscles. Okay, they consist of skeletal muscle cells which are found on bones. So here, function is to again contract and relax to produce movement of various body parts. All right, and then lastly, the cardiac muscles. Okay, which consists of cardiac muscle tissue consists of cardiac muscle cell. Okay, so it is found on the wall of the heart. Cardiac always relates to the heart. Remember. Okay, so again the function, contract and relax, okay, to cause the pumping of the heart, okay, and also to actually pump blood to all parts of the body. Okay, nerve tissues, they are actually mainly found in the brain and also the spinal cord. Nerve tissues is made of neuron. Okay, this is a neuron, okay, or a nerve cells. Okay, so these neurons, they make up nerve tissues. Now, each neuron consists of a cell body, all right, and this is a cell body, okay, and also a nerve fiber called the dendrite and also the axon, okay, axon and the dendrite. Sorry, here, dendrite. Okay, it also has myelin sheath and also squamous cell. Note of Ramvier, this you will learn further in subtopic 12. No, chapter 12. Okay, you will learn in chapter 12 on coordination and response. So you will look further into the nerve tissue. But for now, you know that, okay, nerve tissue looks like this. Okay. Now, nerve tissues can actually detect a stimulus, okay, and also send the information in the form of electric signal, okay, which is known as nerve impulses to the muscles or to the glands. And this nerve tissues actually regulates and control all body activity. So it tells the brains what to do. Okay, now let's look at connective tissues. There are 6 types of connective tissues which consist of various types of cells in the matrix of fibers and collagen. Okay, the function of this connective tissue is actually to join body structure together, to protect, to hold, support the cells in the body as well as to store and transport materials. Okay, so we have bones, loose connective tissue, we have fibrous connective tissues, okay, cartilage, blood, and also adipose tissue as part of connective tissues. Okay, so here you can see the blood tissue. Okay, blood tissue, they play a functional role in regulation and transportation of and protection. All right, blood tissue meaning the white blood cells and so also the red blood cells. Then we have the loose and the fibrous connective tissue. Loose connective tissue, it links to the epithelial tissues, to the tissue below it. Okay, so it actually fixes the organs in their position. That is loose connective tissues. For fibrous one, okay, they form tendons and also ligaments. Okay, the tendon connects the bones and the muscles while the ligaments connect bones to bone. So this one you can see in chapter 14 later on. And then we have bone here. Yes, of course, forms the body frame and protects the internal organs. Bone is also connective tissues. Okay, adipose tissue, which is connective tissue, keeps fats under the skin dermis and the surface of all main organs. Okay, and we have last one, cartilage. Okay, encloses bone tip to prevent bone from wearing out. So cartilage are usually the soft bones, we call them. Okay, also you will see further in chapter 14. Okay, now let's look at plants. So now there are four main types of plant tissue. We have epidermal tissue. Okay, we have meristem tissue. We have vascular tissue and also ground tissue here. Okay, so yeah, let's look further. Meristematic tissue, we have apical and also the lateral meristem, which is always growing. Okay, permanent tissue, which they already grow, they grow into epidermal. Ground tissue, we have parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. And vascular is always the xylem and the phloem tissues. Tissue organization in plants. Meristem tissue. It consists of meristem cells, which are always dividing by mitosis to produce new cells for growth. So there are two types of meristem tissues, which is the apical meristem, which is at the shoot and the root tip. Okay, you see shoot apical meristem and also the root apical meristem. Okay, and it actually divides to increase the length, okay, of the root and also the shoot. The lateral meristem tissue is at the cambium of a dicotyledon stem, okay, which it will divide to increase the diameter of the stem. So apical, up and down, it grows upwards, downwards, root and shoot tip. For lateral, it always for the one that grows sideways. Okay, and then we have the epidermal tissue. Epidermal tissue, it consists of one layer of epidermal cells. Okay, it covers the surface of plants. So this epidermis of stems, leaves, and root. Okay, all that have epidermis. And then it protects the underlying tissue. Epidermis is usually at the top, so it protects the underlying tissue. Okay, it protects against water loss. Okay, so that is the function of epidermal. Ground tissues. Now, ground tissues, we have three types, parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So this parenchyma is actually fills the space between other plant tissues. So in leaves, these parenchyma cells, they form the mesophyll tissues which carry out photosynthesis to produce food. In roots, parenchyma tissues, they store the food. Okay, then we have collenchyma with a thick cell wall. It supports the leaves, the young stems, and also the flower stalk. All right, the green part. Sclerenchyma is a much more thicker cell. Okay, the cell walls is thickened with lignin. It provides support and strength to the plant. Okay, this is usually the secondary structure of the plant. And then we have the vascular xylem, vascular tissues, which is the xylem and the phloem. Okay, xylem, they consist of trachea, xylem vessels, you have seen, okay, before. And phloem tissue consists of sieve tube and also companion cells. All right, so these are the xylem and the phloem, which has their own function. Xylem is to transport water and mineral salt from roots to all parts of the plants, and phloem is to transport organic matters, okay, the product of photosynthesis from the leaves to all parts of the plants. Okay, now the density of certain cell components and specialized cell function. Now, here I want to stress on that you have to know what are the organelles, okay, found abundantly and where. Okay, for sperm cells, they have a lot of mitochondria. Muscle cells, okay, flight muscle cells in insect and bird, meristem cell, okay, they all have a lot of mitochondria. Mitochondria, we know, function is to generate energy. Okay, now, so for what? Energy for what? For the sperm cell, is energy to swim towards the uterus and the fallopian tube, and also to fertilize the secondary oocyte or the ovum. Okay, the muscle cells, they need a lot of energy to contract and relax to enable movement and flight. Okay, and meristem cell is for growth. Okay, it requires a lot of energy to carry out active cell division process to produce new cells. So all this require energy. Of course, they also have other organelles, but this is the most abundant found in the cell. Okay, like for palisade and spongy mesophyll, they need a lot of chloroplasts. Why? To carry out photosynthesis. Okay, pancreatic cells and also the goblet cells in the intestine epithelial cells and the respiratory tract, we have goblet cells. Why? They have a lot of rough endoplasmic reticulum and also Golgi apparatus. Okay, for them to increase and synthesize enzyme digestion and also to produce mucus. Liver cells has a lot of smooth endoplasmic reticulum because it metabolizes carbohydrates and yes, detoxification of drugs and poison. Now, question asks, what will happen, okay, if there is no mitochondria in sperm cells? If the liver cells has no smooth endoplasmic reticulum, what will happen? So how do you answer that kind of question? You just say, liver cells cannot, the keyword is cannot, detoxify drugs. Sperm cells cannot swim towards the ovum because it lacks of energy, because it does not have mitochondria. So that's how you answer the question. It's there, but the way you write is different. Okay, so the keyword is cannot. All right. Okay, now let's try this. Which organ consists of cells which have high density of rough endoplasmic reticulum? Okay, yes, the stomach. Okay, so the rough endoplasmic reticulum is actually transporting proteins made by the ribosome throughout the cells, correct? So stomach is actually an important site of synthesis of digestive enzymes. So no protein or enzymes are produced in the heart, in the brain, and also kidneys. Okay, next, which organelle is found abundantly in muscle tissue? Very easy, muscle. So it is mitochondria, okay, which is specialized in supplying energy, okay, in the form of ATP molecules to the muscle cells for contraction. Okay, so we are done. So now you have to do formative practice 2.3. Okay, there are 4 questions here. Answer all questions. Answers will be given in the description box below. Please check your answers once you are done doing this. All right, and yeah, that's all. With that, I will end my video here. Thank you for watching and please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Okay, bye-bye.